Hey folks, thanks for watching my channel today. But today I want to talk about old guys and smartphones. Let's talk a little bit about smartphones. I'm 77 years old. If you've watched any of my videos, uh, I mostly talk about fishing. That's really what I'm passionate about. But from time to time, I like to talk a little bit about other things. And today, smartphones, just seem to be something that's constantly giving me a problem, and I'm sure there's other guys like me that have a problem with their phones. But I can run a bass boat down the lake 70 miles an hour. I back trailers down crooked ramps, and I read water without electronics. But that little piece of plastic, that little phone, whatever you want to call it, that I keep in my back pocket. Now that thing thinks it's smarter than I am. And you know what? On a lot of days it might be. First problem I have with it, it seems like it's always talking to me. My phone is constantly telling me things. You have an update, your storage is almost full, suspicious login attempt, time to stand up. Stand up? I mean, I've been standing up since, 1940, 48. Well, maybe not, maybe 1950. I do need encouragement, though, but I'm not sure that I need it from a little rectangular piece of glass. And heaven forbid you ignore it. Next thing you know, it's flashing, it's buzzing, it's beeping, and it's vibrating like it's trying to escape from your pocket. Young people say just download the app. What's an app? I mean, come on. There's apps for weather, for banking, for maps, for groceries. There's even one for a flashlight. Yeah, a flashlight. We used to carry one in the truck. Now, it's in there somewhere in the phone, just hiding along with something and a million other things. Um, you open your screen, it looks like Vegas slot machine, and if you accidentally move, they all start wiggling like they're nervous. I didn't ask for movement. I don't know why it's doing that. Talk about Face ID. You know, now it's going to judge me based on the way I look. And that's just talking about unlocking it. You either type in a code, which I always forget, or use Face ID. So now I just hold it up, bring it up to my face, and it stares at me like it's evaluating my character. Some mornings it unlocks right away. Other mornings, apparently, I don't look trustworthy. And we all have those mornings. Maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's my fishing hat and sunglasses. Maybe it's just really disappointed in me. I don't know. Let's talk about texting. That's what everybody wants to do nowadays, texting. It used to be emails. Now if you send an email, they know you're an old guy. You got to text. So, hey, I grew up writing letters. I wasn't real good at it, but that's how we communicated. Full sentences, punctuation, a little bit of thought. Now it's LOL, BRB, IDK. I don't need a translator just to have a conversation. And I don't know what these things mean. Apparently, they mean something. And then there's autocorrect. If I type in going fishing, it changes it to going finishing. No, I'm not finishing furniture. I'm going fishing. Autocorrect has started arguments in marriages. It certainly created some problems with the times that it's corrected me and said things that I didn't mean for it to say. It does have a GPS, and I'll admit something. That's a nice feature if you can figure out how to make it work. And it's like magic. Back in the day, we had paper maps. They uh, folded up like playing cards. You opened one up and it covered the windshield. Now, I open Google Maps or Apple Maps, and a calm little voice says, in 500 feet, turn right. No arguing, no refolding the paper, no pulling over. That part, I kind of respect. Another section or another part of the phone is the camera. And I'll say this, that camera on a smartphone is pretty unbelievable. It used to be we'd carry actual cameras. Of course, we'd have to buy film. Some batteries even needed, some cameras even needed batteries. And you didn't know if the picture was going to be any good or not because you had to wait 2 weeks. Now, you catch a bass, you snap a picture. Send it to your buddies while you're still on the water. And of course, they accuse you of using something called Photoshop, which I don't have any idea what that is, but apparently you can use Photoshop to make your fish look bigger. I'm not sure that's progress. And then you get these notices like, my storage is full. And this is a mystery that none of us old guys really understands. It pops up and says your storage is full. Full of what? I have 12 pictures. 3 of them are accidental pictures of my shoes. But somehow it's full. And then somebody says it's in your cloud. There's that little cloud again. Don't know what the hell they're talking about. Apparently my phone and the sky are working together. But here's a real question. What and who is in charge? Is it me or is it this thing? Because some days it feels like I work for my phone. It'll say charge me. It'll say update me. It'll say approve this, verify that. Now here's the truth. This little device lets me see my grandkids anytime. Helps me check the weather before I launch the boat. And guess what? I can call for help if I need it. And the best part, I can watch fishing videos while I'm fishing. That's not a weakness. That's a power. So to the old guys watching this video who say I don't mess with smartphones, you already are. It's in your pocket. It's smarter than the computers that sent a man to the moon. And you're using it to look at cat videos. You're doing fine. Don't let it intimidate you. If you can learn how to adjust a carburetor, if you can tie a polymer knot in the wind, and if you can survive raising teenagers, you can figure out a smartphone. And if it locks up, turn it off. Turn it back on. That works about 90% of the time, and it'll solve a lot of the little problems you have. And now, if you'll excuse me, my phone says that I've been sitting too long, and I refuse to let it win. So I'm going to get up, and I'm going to move around. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the short video, and trust me, take this thing with you when you go fishing. If something ever happens, it's your one source of getting help. Hope you have a great day. Take time and go out and do a little fishing.